Hello and welcome to this very special live streaming program on CGTN, China Global Television Network. We are live from National Convention Center in Beijing, covering the 2023 CIFTIS, China International Fair for Trading Services. I'm Zheng Junfeng, the host of today's session roundtable. Actually, I'm one of the hosts of today's session. I'm joined by 4 other very young, nice, enthusiastic, and very busy, exhausted reporters, my colleagues. They're going to join me for a 1-hour roundtable to wrap up the past 5 days. Lots of events, lots of talks, lots of exhibitions, and lots of our reporting experiences. And I'm Junfeng from Global Business, and next to me is Xia Cheng. Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Xia Cheng from the International News Team.
And Chun Ying.
Hi, I'm Zheng Chunying, a CGTN reporter.
And Chen Cheng.
Hi, I'm Zhao Chen from the digital team.
Yeah. Yawen.
Yeah, hello everyone, I'm Yawen. I'm with CGTN Radio.
So today we are a squad, with all kinds of roles, from TV, from digital, from radio. But we have one goal here for the past 5 days. That's to experience and report this event as much as we can, because this event is so much. It's unbelievable, right? It is already one of the biggest events in China, next to CIE in Shanghai, Canton Fair in Guangzhou, that Consumer Expo in Hainan. And this is one of the 4 biggest events in China, CIFTIS, the biggest kind of trade in services fair in China, probably around the world. So let's first of all have a little toast, have a little drink up with our cup of coffee.
Okay.
Yay.
To thank you.
Yeah, we
to
do
thank
need
ourselves.
a coffee break.
Yeah, for our hard work.
Cheers.
For the past
Cheers.
5 days. Yeah.
Cheers.
Good work. Now let's talk about our work. Okay? So it's sad, right? We're wrapping up. Already the last day.
Shouldn't we be happy?
Yeah. We also should be happy. Are we happy or are we sad?
Happy.
You're happy. Wrapping up
Wrapping
very
up.
5 busy days.
Yeah.
What about you? Happy, sad?
Happy.
Happy?
So tired,
Finally.
for sure.
So tired,
I
yeah.
need a big rest after this.
We definitely happy from the side because we had the chance to really meet a lot of people and have the in-depth interviews with a lot of exhibitors and industry leaders. So that's the good side. The bad side is wrapping up, and we will have to wait until next year.
Wow, that's such a diplomatic answer.
I don't believe you.
Talk diplomat too much, talking about international relations
seriously.
too much.
Well, yeah. I just feel like because on my daily basis, since I'm from the radio branch, most of the time we're doing interviews through the phone line or Skype. It's not very often to have a chance to really interview someone face to face and come to there's such a, as you said, the most comprehensive events in China. So it's a great opportunity to really meet people and see them.
And let's not forget, this is the first CIFTIS after 3 years of pandemic. In the past 3 years, it's been awkward for CIFTIS because services really involves people-to-people communications, this close, talking to each other, almost speaking to each other. This creates a strong relationship, a bond for us to, make business happen and make money flow happen. But, the pandemic prevented that from happening. But this year, different, lots of people coming in from around the country, from around the world. So it's good, it's vivid, lots of people. But this National Convention Center is only one of the 2 venues. Who's been to Shougang?
I've been there.
I've been there last year or 2 years ago, I think, because I've been there once.
Okay.
It's so far away. I feel like I'm at the at the end of the world, end of the universe.
It's out of the west 5th Ring Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's where Cheng Cheng was born.
That's
really?
right. Yes,
Yeah.
I was actually born at Shougang Hospital. So yeah, my mom worked in Shougang when I was little. And so I sort of grew up there until I was 3, not for many years. But yeah, I do have a lot of connections with Shougang. So, and this year is my first year covering for CIFTIS. Actually, it's the second, as I mentioned, major expo in China that I've been to as well. And then, so yeah, I was in Shogang for the first 3 days. It was very far. It is very far from where we work. Like we have to go all the way to the west.
But it's not very far from where Yawen works.
Because our office is at the west side, so it's like 10-15 minutes driving distance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice, just underneath the mountains, very beautiful views. And
Exactly.
waters,
It truly
stuff.
feels like another part of the city.
I actually have one question for Chen Chen.
yeah.
Because you said you were born there, so you
was
must
born
have
there.
you probably spent some of your childhood there. So how does it feel like when you go back again? Like what are the changes?
Shogang totally
changed.
changed from a steel mill, because Shogang stands for National Steel Mill, or no, Beijing National Capital Steel and Iron Mill.
Yeah, that's right.
It moved out of the city before the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games to clear the air quality for Beijing.
I mean, the chimney looked pretty cool when we watched the games during the Winter Games in Beijing.
It totally transformed from a production site of iron and steel, like where all the smoke happened.
Yeah, it gave me
to
this
now a very clean-
steampunk yet cyberpunk kind of feel.
Cyberpunk,
That's
yeah.
right. To now a zone for innovation and technology and arts and a lot of things.
Metaverse.
Yeah, Metaverse Park. Did you guys get the chance to visit? They have the is that Shogun #1 like blast
called-
furnace,
yeah, furnace.
so real Metaverse Park, and
good.
it displays the entire supply chain of the Metaverse industry. So it's really cool. You can enjoy like the immersive experience.
Like all the
play-
lightings and
Yeah.
steams. They still put steam inside, you know?
Yes.
Like that feels
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It feels
surreal.
like a
It's
Like
real
that.
one. It's not
Yes.
fake one. It's
Yeah.
real one
It's
from
a real
many
one.
years ago.
Yeah.
And I also saw lanes dedicated to automated driving. You know, there's
Cool.
for EVs.
Yes.
Test site. So
You
it's
can
really
you can pay like
tech-driven.
20 yuan to
Take a ride on
Yeah,
the
take a
autonomous
ride
driving
on
To take
car,
the risk.
bus.
But it's quite safe, right? It's like a
yeah. I
I
think
pre-decided
I
routes.
actually tried that before the fair was hosted. So yeah, you can try for the taxi that is by autonomous driving cars. It was powered by Baidu's Apollo car, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
And
that a part of the CIFTIS exhibition?
Do you sign like
That's not even part of the CIFTIS. It's
Part of
it's
Shogun.
always there. You know,
Yeah.
do you
because
sign
the
like
Shogun
a
area
like a
is-
temporary insurance contract with them before you
you
get
don't
on?
have to. You don't have to.
Xiaochen is definitely concerned about the risks. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, they asked me to sign on one, so I was
disclaimer?
Yeah, so I was like,
Yeah,
maybe
because
next time.
they will ask you to sign something.
Oh, okay. I didn't pay attention.
Because they're doing the driving on the real road. There
Right.
are still traffic going on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
And that's the
Great.
amazing part of it, right?
It's
And
part of the R&D process.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. That's what Shogun is, pushing forward technology transformation.
Yeah.
There are also many innovative technologies here at this venue as well, like from consumer robotics to like medical robotics to many metaverse and AI technologies. Very fascinating. And honestly speaking, this is my first time covering CIFTIS.
Your first time. So who is also first time? Your first
Yes.
time.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
was
my second
Okay,
honestly,
it's
I
my
was
second
stunned
time. Yeah.
by
A third.
the scale of this event. It's
big, huh?
Such a
Yeah.
mega event. I think there are like thousands of exhibitors.
2000.
2000.
Yeah,
2000.
2,000 exhibitors from over 60 countries all across the globe, and that is amazing.
it's like a festival. in
Yeah,
the
speaking
city.
of exhibitors, how do you feel about the quality of guests this year? Because the previous two events, I was here too, and the quality of the guests was not
because of the
very good.
pandemic, I guess, a lot to do with that. But
Well,
this
What do
year,
you mean?
the UK is
I didn't
guest
have a chance
of
to
honor.
talk to any global level executives whatsoever. Yeah,
But
So
this
it
year
was-
different, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a bummer. But what about this year? How do you feel about the guests?
Well,
You start first.
yeah.
It's the first
Well,
time. Yeah.
I so far speaking of the global, you mean the CEO from the global companies?
like any global
leaders.
level
Okay.
executives.
Well, I spoke to one lady. She's from Australia. She's Chinese Australian, and she's been living there since she was a child. And they export the high level bees like honeys to Chinese market, to the Middle Eastern market, and so on and so forth. So she says. But she wasn't here, like she's not here in person.
Okay.
Her like office manager is here, so she said she's very looking forward to, I'll say, expand her business here, and this is their first time here. So, but the market is already very mature. She's looking forward to spread out the name of her brand and thinking the healthy food market have a great potential in the future. So that's from her.
And I saw many exhibitors from like developed countries like the United Kingdom, from North America, from European countries. For example, the guest country of honor, the UK. I saw many guests, many business people from Great Britain coming to the UK pavilion, and there were many like events, forums.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit on that because I had the honor to be the MC of an event, Financial Forum, on the sidelines of CIFTIS, and the UK as a guest of honor country had a huge delegation of 110 high-ranking high-ranking officials and international financial institutions, executives. So we had a whole day of session, and the highest ranking official, I think it's Lord Dominic Johnson, the Minister of State of its Department of Trade and Investment. So it's basically Minister of Investment or Minister of Trade, equivalent of Chinese. And he held quite a long session in the morning. He talked about the UK welcomes Chinese investment because his visit was right after the Secretary of the Foreign Secretary, UK's Foreign Secretary's visit after 5 years of gap. So it's a warming up or recovery of China-UK relationship. He specifically talked about we can do more to, improve or boost China-UK financial cooperation.
Did they say how and where?
Exactly, that's a very good question.
Finance,
Because he mentioned about the Shanghai, London, Shenzhen, London StockNet program. There are a number of
many
companies.
Actually, over the past few years, we've witnessed very deep ties, many deep ties between China and UK, especially in this finance sector. A lot of Chinese companies get listed in London Stock Market Exchange, and also from London side, the UK has granted license for many Chinese firms, Chinese enterprises, and Chinese financial institutions to open up their branches in London. We see many banking institutions, financial firms opening up their branches. So many exchanges and many opportunities going on. And also the United Kingdom is, as we all know, that that's the start of finance, right? The United Kingdom is also the world's financial center.
Of course.
So it is very experienced in many cutting-edge areas like fintech, risk management, and those are some of the areas that the United Kingdom may assist their Chinese clients and more opportunities ahead, I think.
That's exactly what Lord Johnson was talking about. Yes, definitely. There's a second Lord. They're Lord MPs. So it's like Lord of Rings, Lord. So Lord Sassoon, another former minister of, I think it's Treasury, talked about the China's importance and the potential of China-UK cooperation. He specifically mentioned what you just said. Said the China-UK trade volume grew by 20% in the past 4 years, from 2018 to this year. 20%. And there's still a lot of potential. Have you visited the UK pavilion?
Not yet, unfortunately.
There was a magic
walk there.
After
this event,
there's a,
at the start of
it's a Super League trophy there on demonstration. They have also a miniature art structure of London.
More things are for sale now for Chinese investors.
Yes, because they are very good at innovative industry. I'm praising it because it's true. Sports, TV, film, education, car racing.
Not just property.
Education.
Because it used to be the only thing that Chinese investors were interested in. Property, London property to be specific.
Oh, you had experience there, right?
But anyways, did they say anything about entrepreneurship or startups? Like, can Chinese people go there and found a company easier nowadays? Or did they say any?
Not really. we didn't touch that part because the financial part is huge.
Because the stake is pretty high. Because a lot of Chinese entrepreneurs, they think that they want to go to London and set up a base there.
Is that still the case, like now, like after the pandemic? Because
after the pandemic, Singapore has been doing that.
Yeah.
Hong Kong has been doing similar stuff to attract more talents. And if London wants to compete with these two very attractive cities, they have to do something. They have to do something more concrete.
Yeah, because like in the past few months, we have heard about news that there are like strikes going on, because of the rising, I would say, cost of living and the inflations.
I
think that's why they're here. They're seeking more talent from China.
They're seeking more diversity of source of investment. So
I think it's more about exchanges.
Yes,
right?
definitely. It's two-way. So we've talked about finance. Finance, one of 9 themes of CIFTIS, and we also have tourism, education, sports, supply chain, business services, construction, medical services, environment, and IT. There's so many. So we're going through very quickly. We talked about finance. Who has done tourism? You have done tourism, yes.
I visited some pavilions, like Thailand, like the UK, and other.
Japan, I think I saw it quickly
and South Korea.
Oh yeah.
Was it able to attract Chinese tourists?
Of course, everybody loves Chinese tourists. Who's keen on spending, and again, there's a huge demand in China's market.
No question about it. Yesterday. In here, I talked to a CCPIT guy who's promoting trade. He says now Chinese people are very interested in paying more attention to green tourism.
Green
tourism.
So they're paying attention to hotels that have green labels.
I don't really buy that story, but it's a good starting point.
Okay, they don't give you slippers anymore. They don't offer you toothbrushes anymore.
Oh yeah, unless you ask for it.
You can pay for it, ask for it.
And
they
that's
consume less energy. If you leave the room, the room temperature, would become normal. No
AC,
no AC or warming anymore. The lights is off. It's more environmental sustainable. And also, they try to use green transportation.
That's actually
green
tourism.
Green tourism.
Well, at least it's a good story to tell to the investors or market.
It's a starting.
You guys mentioned Japan and other countries. It's more like an export of consumer purchasing power, and China also wants to import more purchasing power of tourists. So, for example, Chengdu has been very active in promoting their image. They've been filming a lot of documentaries that went viral online.
After the university games, right?
After the but before the university games, they did several quite magnificent works. I think one of them was directed by Zhang Yimou, right?
Oh,
I think it's called Chengdu has been waiting for 3,000 years for you to come. So they did a brief,
really good
they did a pretty magnificent.
Do you guys know that there's a huge area underneath in B1?
Here?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Provinces and regions of China have booths.
Haven't been there yet.
You should visit.
After that,
we'll take a look around.
It's not only about export. It's also about import.
Imports.
We need more.
Two ways.
We need to import more purchasing power to China. To help with the economic recovery.
So adding on to the country pavilions and province pavilions here on the far west, at least I'll start first a little bit. Maybe you can fill in a little bit more. So I spent 3 days in Shougang Park, and there they also had a lot of an exhibition hall dedicated to tourism services, right? And there was one place where it's filled by Belt and Road countries, and so it was so exciting to see. Like it was literally floods of people, and also people from all the Belt and Road countries.
Very exotic. Very foreign.
Oh yeah, and they were doing music, dances, and like a lot of African countries, and also a lot of other places. It was titled "A Colorful World," and it was truly colorful.
Colorful World.
Colorful World. They were there last year as well. Yeah, so it's been Belt and Road because we all know this year is the 10th anniversary of when China.
Initiative.
So that's a big deal. Like it's been, I would say, the tradition in the past few years as well. We talk about like the tourism. Actually, I went to the booth of Fiji. Yeah, because
Fiji.
Fiji. No, at the Shougang Park.
Oh.
where
I
that
didn't
water
notice
comes
that.
from. Water Fiji.
Yeah, because
Fiji.
they were playing kind of their traditional instrument, and that's the way how they attract participants to go there to find out more about their tourism products, and also to purchase some locally made oil or coconut oil, something like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love to visit these countries. The thing is,
Yeah,
the direct
actually-
flight, I wish the direct
No, they don't
international
have that.
flights
You have to
is
transfer from
cheaper.
Hong Kong.
Practical.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the most pragmatic suggestion. Yes, I feel like that for Chinese tourists, the popular destination for their
Holiday breaks.
holiday breaks is now become more diversified.
Yeah.
You
Unlike
don't want to
previously,
do like group or flock to one side.
yes, unlike previously they just want to visit United States or
Canada.
Singapore, United
Canada,
Kingdom,
or
Southeast
countries
Asia.
like that. Yeah, and now
Yeah.
more choices for them.
Yeah.
Especially Belt and Road countries, as you just mentioned, and like African countries, and many developing countries as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Just
no
to
wonder more and more.
Experience more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Experience
no wonder more
differently.
countries are coming to China to seek Chinese tourists,
Tourists.
to
Yeah.
attract them.
Great.
Yeah.
Everyone loves tourism.
Yeah.
How? Now, education. Xiaocheng's been to education events, right?
No, you know, I went to an event that has something to do with education. It's talent training.
Talent training.
I hosted a forum about South cooperation with a theme of talent training and how to facilitate talent training in developing countries or less developed countries, especially Africa. And they say talent training is the starting point. You need to have a better infrastructure for these talent to find jobs or be where they should be to, serve a purpose there. And you need to change the policymakers' mindset so that they can better use these talent, not just train them and then leave them alone. So all these three things are areas that China is working on when they work with, for example, African countries to train talent. And they say that because China has been growing fast, the pace is pretty quickly, and African countries want to do similar things. So China is a good place to get those knowledge. And because China has gone through several rounds of reforms now. And when you grow really fast in terms of economy, there will be problems and there will be reforms needed, and China has some experience and expertise in that as well, some so-called best practices, and African countries can use, and China can export.
Yeah.
So that's the service trade we are talking.
Seriously.
We are exporting ideas, mentalities, and know-hows, and that's the essential
Serious
part
stuff.
of
Yeah.
service trade.
Yeah.
So it was an exciting forum, and those experts, some are from policy-making bodies, some are from industry alliances, and some are from private companies. And so they talk about, the conversation went really high and really down to earth.
Okay.
So you get to know the people's mindset in different layers of the market, from very industry-specific stories to the general picture of what China is doing. So it was a treat.
Wow.
Yes,
wow.
and talking about talent training, I think it's not just about exporting ideas and mechanisms, exporting, but also about importing. I think because, as we just mentioned, that China is developing very fast, and the whole world is transforming at a very fast pace. As everybody is embracing the future, we have to get trained, to get skilled. That's from top to down.
Yeah.
Like, for example, what we mentioned in finance sector, we're now using fintech. Every area industry is now embracing digitalization. So more skills are needed
We need to have technology literacy.
Yes. So I think that's the area where we can seek more common grounds with more developed countries like the United Kingdom and other countries from European countries. And also, yes, I see more opportunities in this area when it comes to talent, training, and education.
That's very important, especially for like this time for developing countries. For instance, many Belt and Road countries, they have established this mechanism with China, like to cooperate together. For instance, Chinese government or some institutions are providing opportunities or this training courses. For instance, sending medical experts overseas to Belt and Road countries to teach them how to improve their medical capacity, or for instance, in the agricultural sector. There is a very famous one in Guangzhou. It's called Juncao. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. It's made in China by this a professor, and it's through the Belt and Road. It's being now implemented to over 100 countries. It's very easy to plant. It will grow very fast. And
What's it used for?
You can feed animals. You can also make it to a medicine for human use, and also it can change.
I like your seriousness when you introduce these things.
No,
frowning.
seriously, this is a really big deal. I saw, because I wrote a report about this. Like this professor Lin Xizhan or Lin Zhanxi, forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. Yeah, because he's been doing this for years, and he invented this. He invited a lot of talents from developing countries to China, to Fujian. And then teach them how to do it, so they will go back to their countries to plant the grass. We even have
and treat people there.
we have a TV series about this.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened.
Really appreciate this kind of.
So that's the talent training, and also we teach them how to fishing we teach them how to do fishing. Yeah, instead of giving them fish.
Yeah.
So
2 days ago at this place, I interviewed a Canadian guy called Justin Downs. I've known him for 15 years. He does a business in the leisure management. Leisure management. Think about it. Leisure management.
hospitality or
Sports.
sports.
Golf. Ski. Outdoor ski and indoor ski. Can you imagine indoor ski? They invest billions to build indoor ski resorts. So those places needs a lot of education in coaching, in operating, in knowing how to adjust the temperature of the room and the ice and snow. These are all know-hows from overseas, because China traditionally didn't have any of these knowledge. So after the 2022 Winter Olympic Games, there are a lot of foreign experts that know that China has this growing market of skiing, exports, golf, outdoor, whatever, running, marathon, everything. They need coaches. They need those medical stuff helping you to adjust your body. Chinese people used to be concentrating on buying gears. These nice running shoes, skiers, sports shoes,
I
ski
remember
events.
you are
That's
very.
why everybody loves China. Everybody loves Chinese consumers.
Now Chinese are willing more and more, gradually every year, from adults to
To
kids.
actually enhance their skills.
Yeah, to enhance their skills by purchasing education, hiring
courses.
coaches. If you hire coaches for your kid to learn ski lessons, you would definitely spend more on the coach than the gears for the
That's
ski.
what happened to me. And there's one, and there was one Chinese. It's not a proverb, but was trending online. 差生文具多. It literally translated to like the worst students. The worst student buys the most.
Stationery.
It's like that's me.
Yeah.
But no, I know you're an expert in skill.
Are you watching the American Open, the tennis Open?
Yep.
Zheng Qingwen, a Chinese girl,
Okay.
is now in the final 8.
Great.
Her coach is foreign. I saw her. It's a white guy.
A lot
in
of
the-
tennis coaches.
Yeah.
For Chinese
So
people,
they are
right?
actually paying for coaching. They're paying for education.
Of
training.
course.
Yeah.
They have a whole squad in the team, training, skills, psychological, massaging assistant. These are all service trade. I have to
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
Professional players are like this, but I think amateurs, even beginners,
Yeah.
are gradually embracing the idea that we should pay some amount of our expenditures
For sports,
for
exercise.
training.
Oh, for
If you enter into something you really like tennis or ski, I strongly advise.
Scuba diving.
To hire someone to help you instead
Yeah,
of you,
indeed.
engaging it yourself and getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like I
And
got
just from
hurt.
just from daily observation, I feel like apart from these traditional sports that we're talking about, the tennis, basketball, or skiing, and there's a growing trend for more like variety of sports, like for group of people, like frisbee, as you may have seen in cities. What else? I also learned something called paddle. That's a combination of.
Oh.
No. It's a
Stand-up paddling?
No, paddle is like a combination of tennis, badminton,
ping pong. It's called-
and ping pong. Yes,
and ping pong.
and squash
Oh, I
actually.
see. It's a small bat.
Yes,
Pretty
small
small
bat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a lower par for doing this such a playing.
Yeah. So like more
Easier than
concession.
tennis, but more stimulus than ping pong.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah, it's like,
Threshold is
Paddling.
much lower.
yeah.
I've seen people playing tennis court.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there could be like 4 lines of paddling in one tennis court. Yeah, people still can have a lot of fun, good exercise.
Right.
But I think training is just talent training is just a part of education exchange. There's so much to do when it comes to educational exchanges among countries.
You are educated in Singapore.
Yes. I
Xia
had
Cheng, any experience overseas?
learning abroad.
No.
You speak very good English. What about you guys?
I studied in the United States.
Yeah.
In the
For
US,
how
right?
many years?
For studying 5 years, I think.
Where apart?
Both the East
part?
Coast and West Coast.
Both East and West.
We're in the West Coast, California.
Yes, California.
Yeah, I was there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from 2009 to 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm way
Then-
behind.
Then I moved to Ohio.
Are you going to talk about the schools?
Yeah, I think here, we're sitting here, we all have some form of either working overseas experience or have education experience overseas. So we think we are talking about the CIFTIS, but we are, I'll say, ourselves demonstrate how the talents training or are very important like nowadays, especially in the stage of like globalization in human resources. So as we're talking about this subject, we are the best demonstration of it. I
That's
think.
right.
And it's not only about going out for Chinese students going out, but also attracting more foreign students from overseas to learn in China too.
Yes.
And now, in fact, there are growing. Like after 3 years of pandemic, we expect more students from overseas to come to China and to study in Chinese universities.
Oh, yeah.
And
I actually met with someone from Pakistan in Shougang Park, and he's doing his PhD in physics at the Chinese university.
Whoa.
So yeah, like we can see more. We definitely see more like students, international students, coming to China to study the technology part of it. Yeah.
I think now with the geopolitical tensions going on, right?
That-
I
so
don't want to
education-
delve into politics too much, but I think the more foreign people, especially from Western countries, to visit China, study in China, live in China,
the better for
the better
easing
for
for easing the
communication,
tension.
yeah,
Yes.
to mitigate
Exactly.
to ease the tension.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
if they come to China and see China, they know
They all
that
know the real China.
what real China is. That's
Yeah.
what CGTN has been trying to do. Tell the world what real China is. China is not scary at all. China is very normal, where 1.4 people live for many years.
Yeah.
And it's normal to live in China. It's safe to live
I
in
think
China.
for majority, I cannot speak for other countries, but based on my experience, I think for majority of the people I met in the U.S., they think China is a great place, have great food, people are nice. They are not that into. They don't believe what politicians are saying on the TV.
That's good.
Yeah, so I
That's
think
good.
politics are politics, but people to people
They have
exchanges
their own judgment.
are, yeah, so it's different.
Is that true, Chang Chang?
Oh yeah, definitely. People-to-people interactions is definitely more important. And I feel like we Chinese people having this growing mindset of having a more embracive mindset, and like we're more welcoming of this colorful world, and that the world is not just about the big powers, right? It's about a lot of diversity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to share with you this. So this Lord Johnson again, because he's very, he's quite impressive. So after the session, we had a small luncheon where he only spent 15 minutes. He had a plane to catch back to London. He's a very busy man, but during the luncheon, he gave a very short speech. He mentioned a figure, a person that existed in history. His name, I think it's Hurt or Hart, correct me if I'm wrong. There's even a sculpture of this English guy in the British Embassy in Beijing. This Hurt or Hart used to serve as a minister, a customer minister for China during the Qing dynasty, and helped Qing dynasty to establish the country's custom office and help the country harness a lot of income from trading with the world. So he's a guy who really contributes to the country, the Qing dynasty, not the China now, the Qing dynasty before. And this Lord Johnson said, he stated in front of so many people that he wanted to be someone like him, a real friend of China, really contributing to China, really contributing to China's communication with the world.
Yeah.
I think it's very impressive. Yeah.
We need more people like him.
That's because he stayed in Asia for 30 years. He built a company called Somerset in Asia. So he had a deeper understanding what Asian or Eastern Asian culture, Chinese culture is like. So
Somerset, the high-end apartment near Liangmaqiao.
yeah, they have lots of
That's
business.
under his company.
Yeah, so he's earned a lot of money already in the first half of his life. So he says, Confucius says, a person should be a one serving the state. So he is now serving the states of Great Britain. He also wants to serve also the interests of East Asia, where he spent 30 years of his life in finance and accumulated a lot of wealth. And he also wants to contribute back to the society, facilitating the communication. It really impresses me. I had some experience in the UK working as an accountant. I studied in the university in the UK. I think it can really connect me. So I think I had this mission of serving because I had experience there. I know somewhat those people think, as you just mentioned, and you just mentioned. I think you also had that feeling. What foreign people are thinking of China. You had this mission, automatic, natural mission, a push inside of it. It's like a propeller to push you to do something, to tell people, to show people what's
really
it's like.
going on.
Yeah, what China is really like, and Chinese people are friendly and open for business stuff. You know,
And that's
so.
what we're all doing,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
storyteller.
So I'm doing this job instead of any other job because this job is impact oriented. It's not like highly paid, but it's impact oriented. We can make impact to people, maybe limited, but some people to some extent. So we went really far from here. So let's get back. So we talked about education,
we have a
sports.
long list to
yeah,
go.
let's go to supply chain. So Yao Wen wants to talk about some supply chain.
Well, it's more into, I would say, because during the event, I got the chance to speak to the commerce counselor from Irish Embassy to China, Mr. Joe Keating, and he mentioned like, because we know Ireland is also a country in Europe. He said Ireland wants to be a bridge or a platform for to promote. First of all, of course, China-Ireland bilateral ties, and also in a broader picture, Ireland wants to become this platform between China and Europe. So, especially in today's world, when the external environment is not that positive. And he also mentioned, because he said China is Ireland's largest trading partner in Asia, and of course, two countries' bilateral trade has been increased every year, and Ireland has been a regular participant at CIFTIS. They have this Irish National Pavilion this year as well, and they have this dairy products and also ripe wines. Yeah, all this kind of
Sheep and cows, you know.
Yeah.
In the wildness, you know.
Yeah.
So he said he's glad to see that China is transforming from this country mainly focused on mass manufacturing to a stage of high quality and sustainable development. Because
he has very good understanding of it.
yeah, he's been here for he has participated in CIFTIS for 4 years.
What kind of work does he do?
He's the commerce counselor at the Ireland Embassy.
You know,
in
there's
Beijing.
one guy called Sean. Actually, in Irish, his name is Shin. He works for us
Oh.
in global business. Yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
sits next to me. I can see him every day. He's
Yeah.
from Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think overall, he gives me this impression that nowadays, like cooperation is really important. Like the theme of CIFTIS this year said, like what is that?
Win-win situation.
Win-win, yeah, like he said, China-Ireland cooperation can only be better, and that's needed, especially Ireland is known for its high-quality stuff, and China is transforming to that stage, so there are a lot of potential to work together. So,
And like you said, this guy has been to CIFTIS for 4 years.
4
and
years.
That's
More than
perhaps
us,
one
yeah.
of the purpose for this event.
Yeah, so the event serves.
Keep coming back.
Yeah, the event serves really good purpose. I want to talk a bit about the supply chain. I visited Alibaba's office in Beijing.
Oh.
You know, next to us, the Zhongguozun,
Okay.
yeah, Zhongxing building. It's really tall, like
Civic,
100.
yeah,
Yeah.
the civic building.
Very good. So they had a press conference for CIFTIS where they announced a product called AI Assistant. It's related to supply chain because small companies can use the assistant to sell products to overseas. Saying if you're trying to sell this cup to overseas and you have no experience with communication with foreign buyers and not very fluent in Chinese, which you're not very fluent, the AI assistant can help you automatically generate the photos and even video content, you know, for foreign
And all the
buyers.
prompts and like descriptions,
You can
everything.
just put a photo and,
Yeah.
search on Alibaba.com what foreign buyers like, okay? And you can put descriptions in Chinese and automatically translate
into
native level English, you know, better than what we can write.
Yeah.
And foreign buyers can contact you through Alibaba's messenger system and they message you in English. If you don't understand, the AI can tell you what it's like. They can even generate answers for you. If you don't like answer, you can regenerate. If you like it, put into the conversation. And they
If
can
you like
ask
it,
more
you can
questions.
be more specific.
Yeah, you can also do direct video call with them. You don't understand, they can translate with all the words on the screen. You can speak Chinese, they can translate into English or whatever the language they want to see, Portuguese or whatever.
Yeah.
So good. AI
Because
system.
since the world was introduced to AI-generated, you know, chatting
Models,
platforms,
yeah.
there have been 3 main models to make money using that platform. Because I had a conversation with one of my pals who works in tech. And first is, like you mentioned, e-commerce. They can automatically generate the promo pictures to put in the description page for your product, and they can help you generate different languages to describe your product, especially the languages that are not commonly used in the world. Because English, most of the people nowadays know English, but other languages.
For Arabic, you know.
Yeah, that's the most.
world language.
That's how they create the most
world
value.
language,
Not
yes.
helping you to do English content, but other
Imagine
languages.
you have to hire Arabic translator.
Yeah, it's much more expensive, and this is much more quickly, and that's one use of that. Second is finance, because they can help you, especially high frequency trading using computers like quants.
Well,
So-
that's a very different direction.
yeah. So AI can help you with coding, so that you can use the program to generate more trading, like immediate high frequency trading to help you get money. And some people on YouTube that I saw, they tried that model. Several people. The average return was like 5% or to even 13% or 40%, depends on.
A day or year?
I think
on the-
annually.
Yeah, if you put it in an
Yearly.
annual base.
Yes, I think
But
it's
they
annual.
only did that for like 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, they realized that okay, they can help you with coding, but the actual return still depends on how well that person knows about the market. So they can give the AI or ChatGPT specific
directions.
mandates
Yeah.
to write the coding more specific. And the third one is to do more general management, but still using coding
For restaurants management,
Like
Yeah.
logistics.
for information systems and everything. Yeah.
You know what?
But the most
Like-
money-making part is the e-commerce and the finance.
Yes.
E-commerce,
For the management, Alibaba also showed me the internal KPI management, which
Oh,
is
is
very
that
something we can
scary.
talk about?
Very scary. So, for example, say that AI assistants apply to 5 of us, right? So every day we are gonna work in this system, and the system will know how many reports we have filed, the length, the audience number, the volumes, the replies, all the data. It could be inserted into this system, and the system will accordingly
Predict
Pay
how you're
us.
gonna behave.
What?
will accordingly pay us.
But the
If
thing
we're
is,
doing-
how can you? What's the standard like? Because it's either like how many phone calls or how many emails or how many messages.
Some of the
is it,
qualities
or
cannot be
what's the result,
quantified.
or it's
Yes.
based on the results.
Like if you're selling this thing, there's a process, right?
Yeah.
Initial contact, video call,
Yeah.
initiating contract,
okay.
signing contract,
So each
sending the product,
you finish
receiving the money.
each part,
Yeah,
they will
all the
pay you
process,
for this.
yes,
It's a
is
life cycle of
Everything
management.
comes at a
Input.
cost.
into the KPI management
Okay.
system. So the system can predict in which months how much money this company can generate, how
Okay.
much shipment, how much warehouse renting the company needs, how much pay we're gonna get.
That does sound very
With relationship to
creepy.
our
Yeah.
performance.
A little
But
bit.
it's very good
But
for
efficient,
the
It's good
That's
for,
very
the,
good.
it's good for the
company.
business
Yes.
leader.
It's also
yeah.
very fair because if you complain about my pay, why is it so low? Only 3,000 because you did nothing. You sold nothing.
So you
What if
cannot,
people
like-
they do not go through the process, but they make a deal? Do you still pay them?
I think it's both process oriented and,
And
outcome,
result-oriented.
Yeah, result oriented.
Okay.
So the machine can have
Like
a
fair
way to calculate
calculation.
it. You
Yeah.
put in the code, tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That's how technology
That's
is
scary,
transforming
right?
our-
Yeah.
That's scary.
Our daily
But
lives.
I think the limitation is, for example, they try 2 weeks and they annualize the results and they can say, oh, the annual return is about 6%. But the thing is, the
6%
economic
is
cycle,
already
and
high.
financial cycle is changing really fast.
Yeah.
So
It's
maybe
long-term.
2 months later, they have to change the coding and everything.
So it
So
has
I think-
to fine tune it a little
Yeah,
bit.
I think the results at that time is not really reliable.
Okay.
Still a long way to go.
AI is also,
Well-
sometimes you say it's not artificial intelligence, 人工, but 工人智能.
Yeah, labor force.
You know,
yeah.
speaking of AI, I actually spoke to this professor from Israel, and I look it up. People call him Israeli robotics guru.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from a university in Israel. He has his own projects. He's more focused into the service robots or personal robots.
Okay.
For instance, to assist if you're disabled, someone's disabled, it will help you to go to the toilet because it's too intimate. You don't want someone else
I see.
watching you,
Okay.
using the bathroom. And also, he said Israel is leading in this. We know Israel is leading in this in its innovation power. So. He said there are a few other robots they're working on. He's not only doing research, but he's making those research become reality. And he said, like, he also attended the World Robot Conference in Beijing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It happened a few weeks ago.
Yes,
Yes.
he delivered a speech and he said he saw great potential, the cooperative opportunities between China and Israel.
Aging society.
Exactly.
Because there's huge demand here. The
Yeah.
market,
Hundreds
the
of
huge
And
millions
market
of
is
it's
here.
everywhere. Not
How
only
much does it cost?
well,
Is it
he
expensive?
didn't tell me the price. Well, in the future, if I'm looking for something like that,
Yeah. Imagine China's
But they're-
manufacturing power. Yes.
Yeah, that's
definitely
what he
need that,
mentioned.
yes.
He said because Israel has very limited land compared to China,
And population.
and population, so they have to
Export this.
Yeah, export and also use their innovation power to work with other countries like China. China
generate
has
data.
China has manufacturing power with generative AI and also robots. It can boost the efficiency
What a
of
good
manufacturing. So that's
So
where
see,
they can
it's
work
always
together.
a combination of the tangible goods, materials, and also services.
Yes.
It's a combination.
And for service providers and technology innovation, China is big enough to generate enough content and data to train, for example, AI, or to give them bigger samples to make wiser
Yes, that's
decisions.
the biggest advantage for Chinese
Yeah.
for Chinese market to grow up its
to attract more investors.
Yeah.
to attract
Yes,
investors
yes.
and then
Data.
to develop its AI technology.
And
Yeah.
the data part is also something for medicine development in
Yeah,
health.
yeah.
Like I went to this conference for World Frontier Technology, Science and Technology yesterday, just like a couple room down there. And they had a launch event for brain-machine interface aided limb rehabilitation. They launched a service guide for that with an alliance also formed here in China. And I asked about the experts who was from Beijing Shenwu Hospital, who is leading the research and like clinical applications of BMI here in China. And they're also collaborating
You mean
with.
the chips implant in your brain?
So there are two ways for BMI. Like
Okay.
one is intervene, and the other is
Intrusive.
censored. Yeah.
Intrusive. Yeah.
Okay, one is intrusive and the other is not. And you probably all have heard about how BMI, like it's an intrusive one that's helped people with
Autism, yes.
autism, and also depression.
Yeah.
That's a very serious one.
Electrified, then you're
Yeah, it's
immediately happier.
Oh yeah, exactly.
No, that's serious.
It's a good.
That's it's in the market
It's already happening.
right?
It's a good material
in
for
China,
sci-fi
in Shanghai,
fiction.
actually.
It's already happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can
Very good to
only
know that.
yeah. So with all the patients, not information, but patients, their experience and data and like all the research they can apply here, and that's gonna foster for the development of BMI in
So good.
medical
Such
clinical
good news for
application.
people with some problems because
Yeah.
autism, now people have the knowledge that it's not about your mood. It's actually in your brain.
Yes.
It's a neural thing. you know,
Yes.
so
That's
if you
right.
have to cure it, you have to implant some little chips and electrify it.
Yeah.
It's really good news for them. I'm very happy to see some examples.
Yeah.
Actually, some of our reporters have reported on this case and
Oh,
found
yeah.
some patients who are already test using this intrusive chip, putting a little chip in your brain.
Yeah.
It's like Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
Do you
sort
guys
of like
watch
that.
it? Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
TV
good-
series.
I mean, it's a widely discussed story in science fictions. The horror ones or the happy ones.
Yeah.
They were
Everything has
also,
two
the horror
sides.
ones, they were talking about enhancing human ability to create some
to do
super
crazy
soldiers.
stuff.
Yeah.
Or make the entire population think exactly the same.
Okay.
And I have to say-
Unifying people's thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So adding on
Yeah.
to that, there is for
In
sure
an illegal way, though.
ethical issues
Yes.
about
Yes.
BMI, but yet we at the same time we also want to promote for the development of it, and then discussing about ethical issues at the same time,
Yeah.
and that's all happening here in China with collaboration, with international collaborations.
That's why we have this belief that CIFTIS can go on forever because there are so many topics. It's impossible
Yeah, it's
to
service.
cover. It's
not just
impossible to
about
cover
products.
everything.
It's,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next
intangible.
important sector is environment, and Chen Chen also had some experience in reporting
Oh yeah.
environment.
Well, I feel like grain is really a thing nowadays, and also particular for CIFTIS. So I want to start with my personal story. I tried to commute to Shougang Park from where we work by subways for the first 3 days. And so there's a program in Beijing that's going on that's called MaaS, Mobile as a Service, which is comes out from SaaS, Software as a Service. So this idea or this system is to integrate different sorts of means of transportation and transportation platform to promote to help people with choices when they are traveling in cities or in between cities. And yeah, so there's a green incentive program in particular in this MaaS program, MaaS system, where if you opt for green transportation, you will get energy points, sort of like the gamification thing going on with Alibaba, Alipay. But this one is different. It's something, the points you get is truly calculated after comparing the amount of carbon emission you've saved,
Ooh.
yes, compared to if you were traveling by cars or by other non-grain
This is like consumer education, huh? Giving
Yes.
people ideas
Yes, giving people
of
ideas and
your lifestyle, impact
It's raising people's awareness
of carbon
Exactly.
footprint.
of how every one of us can
Should be
contribute to the green
If
development.
you rent a bicycle, if you finish renting it and park it,
Shared
the
bikes.
app will, the shared bikes would tell you how many
How many?
carbons
Yeah,
Yes,
you have
yes.
you've
saved.
received.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
every
you
one of
can-
us has a role to play in this
you can
process.
use the token to buy little stuff.
Yes, that's right. So with the amount of, it's not actually not the real carbon dioxide emission you've saved,
Yeah.
but it's been calculated after a very meticulous system, and then it's turned as in a form as energy points, and where you can use those points to.
It's just encouragement
to
to
trade.
change
Yeah.
people's consumption
Mentality.
behavior.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really
Mindset.
important because
And
Go ahead.
just adding on your point, I think the green development, the mentality of going green, I think this has been integrated in every exhibition, in every major
events,
major
in
events
China.
here, especially at CIFTIS, from like energy, new energy vehicles like Tesla, to some like even green finance, finance sector, and even construction side. Everybody's talking about how they can make their contribution to play their roles in this process.
Yeah. The other day we talked to a company called New Link. New Link has a booth in here. New Link is NASDAQ listed Chinese company funded by a very young Chinese lady. She's probably 35. I searched her on the internet, and
Young
because
Chinese
she looks
lady.
so young.
Ageism, ageism,
I'm just trying to
and racism.
I'm just trying to focus on why she's so successful and so young.
We're talking about she power here.
Yeah, it's possible for her to be so successful because she caught up with this EV booming in China, new energy trend in China. So she graduated from Renmin University, majoring in journalism, like many of us were, and she in the 2010s engaged with this industry of EV charging, and she thought there's a huge market to provide services. Building charging stations across China, it's a huge demand.
So New Link is, they help them do
They
the infrastructure
own
part.
25% of all China's charging stations. Can you imagine? They build tens of thousands of charging stations across China every week.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because battery
She's
companies,
now worth some like $35 billion.
Because I think that's
because battery companies and EV makers, they don't want to spend much more money on that
in infrastructure.
But
They need
actually, it's
outsourcing
also it
services.
has been the major pain point when it comes to the expansion of NEV in China.
To responding to your point, I do speak to maybe a few, like Tesla. I spoke to them last year, and they said they have this whole plan to build their
they're
own.
also building that. So I don't know.
Because China is expanding.
I don't know if
charging
the market
infrastructure.
for companies like New
That's
Link
the
is
next
that big.
competitive
You know what?
market.
Because I was doing accounting, so I look into their
balance
spreadsheets.
sheets.
Yes, spreadsheets because they're NASDAQ listed.
Yeah.
They were losing money last year. It's like 100 million yuan, but they're going to probably
they're
break even this year because their
on
income
the scale
is
of
going to
the
multiply by
market.
the
5 to
eventual
6
market
times.
size.
Yeah.
You see, there's the subsidy on charging stations has been dropping gradually.
Yes.
So car drivers, EV car drivers are paying normal prices for charging now. The charging stations are earning money because driving EV cars become a habit in China. Millions of EV cars sold. Charging stations are earning money. Not as much as those oil stations, but charging stations
So I
are
think
making
for her
money
case,
too.
she's betting on the possibility that only big companies like Tesla or Geely or some other companies can have have enough money to actually build
build a
infrastructure.
charge station.
The other smaller EV makers, they will outsource the services.
Great
I
idea.
think she's
And in
betting on that.
remote areas, and in some living complexes,
Exactly.
Still more potentials.
huge potentials.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool.
That's great. So that's why she got billions of.
And
It's too late. It's too late for us.
you know, CGTN can sell our content at their station, charging stations.
Yeah.
You can buy our pay-per-view content from us.
Okay, the CEO of NASDAQ listed company.
It's a rising NASDAQ listed company.
It's a shame that we've been reporting China's success for
But
so
we're-
many years.
We're
And
being
some of us
observer.
jump out to start their own companies and
Yeah.
got listed in
You
NASDAQ.
never know.
Well,
They become
actually,
billionaires.
Yeah, I have an idea because even though electric vehicles are considered green now, but they also consume electricity that might not be coming from green energy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But China is the largest country for green energy resources.
Yes.
So I think maybe perhaps looking forward, we'll have more green-powered electricity charging stations and
That's true.
energies.
And they already have.
Yeah.
New Link also produces energy by themselves. They also install panels at their charging stations. So the electricity
Photovoltaic. And
they're inputting into the EVs are they're self-generated. How about that?
That's
You know, it's
really
good.
cool. Yeah.
And they also send out little robotic vehicles to those car parks
to
car
help.
parking place without charging stations,
Wow.
or to automatically charge your car.
Oh, yeah,
You can
yeah.
send a signal that I want my car to be charged in
At
the
what
early
time?
morning, like from midnight to early morning. My car is at this place. Go to charge my car. You can leave your car charging lock open, and that little
Very
robot can
intelligent.
go there.
Ooh,
How about that? Their booth is over there. Just take a look. The very cute charging robots, robot vehicle.
That's
So I think
another-
back to our point, I think the CIFTIS allows us to give us a chance, a great platform for us to get a glimpse of what future might look like and how digital technologies, cutting-edge technology will impact our lives in the future.
It's
and
a window
bring
to this.
people behind the scene to the front, because people only know the products, not the services behind.
Yes.
Now they get to know them.
And
That's
that's,
very
I
true.
think, part of the reason why CIFTIS attracted so many people, so many talent from all across the globe.
That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
You're aware of it or not? We are now paying more for services than for tangible products.
Well, I do notice that actually I looked it up. The number from last year, there was like 13% year-on-year growth, up to $800 billion revenue in the China's service trade. So
That's great.
and that's up to 2022, and this year only in the first 7 months, it's already been 8% percentage growth, up to $500 billion. So definitely the momentum is strong.
That's more than the tangible goods
Yeah.
trade. That's why that's driving the economy of China and the world. And with Yawen's very important numbers, very serious numbers, we come to the end of this roundtable on CIFTIS. So 5 of us, we've all spent the last 5 days busy running around these 2 important venues, both in National Convention Center and in Shougang Park, to cover and report for you on 2023 CIFTIS. Hope you enjoy today's roundtable. And for those who haven't visited CIFTIS, we do have half a day time before the whole event wrapping up
5 hours?
at 5 p.m.
clock
this
is
afternoon.
ticking.
Yes, the clock's ticking. Only a few hours for you to visit all these venues as much as you can. So come join us at CIFTIS National Convention Center in Beijing, next to Bird Nest and Shougang at the west of Beijing. Not really far, as Xiaochen said. Not really that far. It's okay. It's a very beautiful place to visit. So thank you for watching. See you at CIFTIS this year and next year. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.